Any specific plugin you like to use on drums?
Lately, I've been just running my drums through a drum bus, to kind of get it gritty. I'm not really into like finding the best impact. I'm working more on pop music. If I do house records, I just send it off to Luca or somebody to mix for me. Luca's a great drummer. I'm like stunned with like mixing drum guys who a fuck. So I'm just like, I'm the guy that's like, I have an idea, and then I've spent so much time mixing records, and I'm like, that's not my fucking job anymore. I'm not good at it. I'm not great at it. I'd rather spend
On the creation
50%
phase.
and create something, and then like, yo, here's my stems. It sucks too. Like, I just did a record with Luca. I love Luca. Back to Luca Bertolisi, and it's from this funk genre. It was with Benny Benassi, and Luca worked his ass off, did like 20 versions, and one of my assistants down in Venezuela kind of like came up with a synth, and he just mixed it on like Fruity Loops, and it was like no plugin. It sounds kind of distorted. It fucked up. Me and Benny went back so many times. We're like, we're just gonna use a demo because it just kind of makes the texture of that genre it feel better as a demo. And Luca made it like so perfect, like radio ready, Spotify ready, but we're like, the attitude is kind of missing now.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes it is, that's just what it is.
Exactly.
If you want to super clean up, I'm doing a remix for, say, right now I'm working on a remix for the Black Keys. It's their very first like dance remix they've ever done. So I want it to be played in every nightclub. I want it to be played on like every dance station I can because it's the one chance they have to have a record getting on those playlists.
Yeah.
A lot of times when people do radio dance remixes, um, it's not just like they want to be a part of the dance culture. It's to make those records last longer on the Billboard chart.
Yeah.
Because when you have your radio dance remixes played on like, say, like my station on XM radio or like BPM or um, there's like a couple dance terrestrial radios like in Seattle, Miami. Those plays give that song a longer life. Like if you see Lil Nas X,
Yeah.
a plaque out there that was remixed like crazy. It was the version with Billy Ray Cyrus came out about 2 months later because it extended the life of the record and it went
Yeah.
so much further with that. And then I did dance remixes and then had other remixes, and that just helps carry a record longer because you want those charts. The labels want the charts to last as long as possible. So when you're getting asked to do dance remixes, it's not just like impact. It's like that's their way to have another version of the song to get played on different formats. The
Absolutely.
goal is always to get on top 40 or radio from a label's perspective, but dance helps a lot. It can help with like 10-20% of your plays can come from dance radio. And a record like Iman Beck Rose's remix. Remember that song by St. John? It was like just a demo from St. John, but he had a remix done by that guy Iman Beck, and that record ended up becoming, I think, the biggest dance record of 2019. You know the record I'm talking about? Roses.
Yeah.
That record like never should have been big, but it was like it carried it to a different life.
Absolutely.
So sometimes dance remixes can become bigger than
Then the remix.
record.
Yeah, of course.
It's very rare, but the labels are always looking for that because it costs them money. It's like, oh, here's $3,000, make a remix. That's a small budget for a record to have, you know, 10 million more streams, which just happens a lot of times with dance remixes.
So if I correct me if I'm wrong, you work a lot on picking the right sound because I mean you're not working a lot on the fancy plugin or the mix bus. It's kind of is the right sound for that specific purpose that you search for every time.
Yeah, you want it to be unique. I've always had my allure to like a lot of different people that I work with as a producer, like pop guys, is I'm going to be the unique sounds. And other people have done that and taken it further. Like I've recently worked with OG Volta. They're awesome, like sound design wise. Like they're guys that took what I've done, and done it even bigger and more unique. But a lot of times it's not really about the loudest sound. It's about what is the cultural sounds in there. Like why did they sample this? Or like, why did they give it this texture? Or like, Doechii recently sampled, on Anxiety, she has a sample of, um, the Gautier record.
Yeah.
And that was like familiar for a lot. It's like new record for that generation. And it makes it, and the older people are like, that's cool. I remember that record now. It's another way to listen to that record. So sometimes the samples in the production matters because it hits a cultural moment.
Yeah, like the drums before with Sia. It was
Exactly.
it was a cultural element.
That actually is as much as an appeal as like just being the loudest or the cleanest. And I think that's what I've always leaned towards because I've never been excited about sitting in front of a laptop doing drum production. I have a severe ADHD that makes me like kind of like, I'm kind of done, move on. I'm like, I'd rather make 10 records, pick one to mix, someone else mixes it, than to sit with one for hours, which some people do it. Like when I've done sessions with Chris Lake and I'm like, man, I don't like this song. And, you know, 4 days later, it comes out and it's insane because he could create a sound and an attitude from just the mix. So there's records like that you don't, I can't make records like that. I can't see it through on the sonic level. I always see it through the concept level. And if it doesn't hit me quick enough, I move on. But that's great to collab. That's why I collab with
That's
someone like Science
exactly.
because they can vision that sound design.